Hello, everyone. Welcome to another national weather forecast. And today we're going to be talking about yet another snowstorm that is going to be coming into the United States. So you see, we got a little piece of energy starting to bend here. That is the jet stream getting a little bit of a kink in it. That is because of a low pressure system that's eventually about to try to eject into this portion of the United States. You can see on the satellite already that we do have a decent amount of snow cover in these regions, especially along the coastal regions of Michigan over here, and then also along the Great Lakes as well. And what appears to be an old lady petting a dog over here. This is a cloud formation, and it just looks like an old lady bending over. Here's the head. Here's the little dog. You can even see that some snowfall accumulation has still survived into today over there near Kansas City, near Wentzville, and St. Louis. But let's go talk about some of the totals that we have seen over the past couple of days. All right, looking at the whole of the country here, you can see that we do have a couple of areas here going from Missouri all the way into southern Illinois, Indianapolis, of Indianapolis, going into Kentucky, also West Virginia, and North Carolina. You can see that we have had anywhere from a couple of inches to up to 6 inches over there just to the north of Knoxville. A big old strip here of 3 to 4 inches, kind of in the Ohio Valley, going into Illinois, into the Ozarks of Missouri and Kansas. But our most snowfall totals have been happening, as most of y'all have heard, up here near the Great Lakes, where we have had a foot of snow and more all the way across a big area here of a lot of snow south of Buffalo, around 30 inches. Over here near Kingston, we have had some pretty hefty snowfall amounts. We've even seen some reports of up to 56 inches out of this storm. And a lot of lake effect snow up here in Michigan going into the UP of Michigan, and some dusting all the way from the northern plains down into the northern Ozarks. But that is not going to be it in terms of snowfall. We've got a new storm that's coming into the United States, and it's going to start up here in Canada. It's kind of just a little snowy area, but eventually it's going to wrap up a little bit more, become a low pressure system, and kind of skirt the border of the United States and Canada. You'll be able to see it here in just a second. There it is. You can start to see a little bend here in the precipitation. That is that low pressure system starting to form right up here, and that is eventually going to push down into this region, bringing some decent snow for a lot of folks, potentially even closer to the coast, but it's still kind of a question mark there. You know how I am about the coastal snow. Yeah, this is around the 4th at 3 a.m. You can see that we're starting to see some snow start to pile up here in the UP of Michigan, going into northern Michigan as well. And as I continue to push this forward, you can see that this continues to wrap up and bring even more snow as we go into 3 p.m. on the 4th. You can see we could have a couple of bands of snow happening here. One over here near Lake Erie in northern Ohio, another one over here in southern Michigan, and another one kind of bending all the way back into Iowa, going all the way through most of the state of Wisconsin. Now, some areas up here in northern Minnesota could pick up on some scant snow amounts, maybe a little bit heavier as it starts off. And yeah, you can see some more snow trying to happen over here near New York as well, and also in parts of Vermont and New Hampshire. As I continue to push this forward, you can see that it continues to build up here. A little bit heavier snow happening over here in eastern Ohio, also over here near Pittsburgh as well, north of Pittsburgh, kind of in the mountainous regions of Pennsylvania. And now here's what I'm talking about. As we go into around 9 p.m. on the 4th, over here near the East Coast, we could have like a little area of like a kind of a small low pressure system try to build up out in front of this storm. And that could bring some cooler air just a little bit further down to the south with all that moisture that's going to be existing. And you can see that we do have some snow chances for a decent amount of Connecticut going into Massachusetts, maybe even all the way over there near Boston as well. So decent little area of snow could accumulate there. I'm not talking about a big time snowstorm, but a lot of fun snow is coming for a lot of folks with this new storm that's here. And then as you can see over there near Pittsburgh, potentially a little bit of a stronger band of snow as we go into 12 a.m. Still seeing some pretty good snowfall amounts over here in New England and also parts of Connecticut and maybe even northern Rhode Island. And as I continue to push this into the future, you can see that eventually that snow signal shifts up to the north towards Maine, and then we're going to see some more lake effect snow on the backside of this storm. So we're going to be seeing even more snow pile up over here near Erie, Cleveland, south of Rochester, north of Rochester, just depending on where this thing kind of ejects out of the United States and where those winds are flowing at the time, that they're traveling over this warmer Great Lake water, which is going to convect moisture into snow as it falls through the freezing air. But as we go into the 5th, this thing is pretty much going to be out of our hair. We're still going to see some lake effect snow on the backside of that. And we're going to continue to see some more accumulations over in that area. So let's go check out what some of the projected snowfall amounts are for this event. So as you can see over here in the northeast, going down into Pennsylvania, the Ohio Valley, the Great Lakes region, then also Illinois, and going into the Ozarks, you can see that we do have some snow, potentially not so much in the Ozarks, but over here in northern Minnesota, we could potentially see anywhere from 1 to 4 inches here, especially on the northern side. The further south you go, near Duluth, Fargo, and Grand Forks, we're probably talking about a dusting to just seeing some snowflakes. Over here near Wisconsin, you can see that there is a chance for a lot of, or decent amount of snow, not a lot, but a decent amount of snow north of Merrill, about 1 to 4 inches. The higher you go to the north, I guess you could say, into Wisconsin, you can see that we do have a little bit higher snowfall amounts over there near Ironwood and also Iron Mountain, with a dusting of that to the south, potentially all the way down into Madison. Going into Chicago there of Illinois as well, could see some snowflakes and a dusting there. The state of Michigan, though, is going to still continue to pile up some snow here. We've already seen some pretty high snowfall totals, and that's going to continue to build up with this next storm system. And in fact, the entire state of Michigan could get 1 to 4 inches of snow, with some higher amounts a little bit further to the east. We're still talking about another foot of snow possible in this area near Kalamazoo, Muskegon, and Traverse City. Further to the east, Mount Pleasant, Lansing, Flint could expect anywhere from 1 to 5 inches. Detroit, most likely going to be more of a dusting to a couple of inches, but that might change. Sometimes these storms kind of overperform, so just be ready for some snow. Again, we're not expecting any like major impacts out of this. But as you can see, going into the northeast, you can see that up in the Appalachian Mountains and also most of West Virginia is going to be getting in on 1 to 2 to 3 inches over there near Charleston and everywhere, a little bit lower in elevations. Also, up in the Appalachian Mountains, going to be seeing another chance for 5 to 7 inches of snow up there. For Ohio, over here near Mansfield, Canton, Akron, could potentially get anywhere from 1 to 2, maybe even 3, 4 inches of snow over there near Akron. And then we're going to see that lake effect snow pile up again over here near Cleveland to the east of Cleveland. A lot of other areas of Ohio might see some snow fall and also might see a little bit of accumulation, anywhere from a dusting to a half an inch seems possible for Lima, Bellefontaine, Columbus, Dayton, Hamilton, Cincinnati, Chillicothe. Coming over here to Pennsylvania, you can see that there is a chance for some snow over here as well, especially up here in the higher elevations. Over there near Pittsburgh, might even see 1 to 2 inches of snow. Up on the Appalachians, gets a little bit higher, 1 to 5 inches being possible, maybe getting up into the 6 inches. West of Harrisonburg, could see anywhere from a dusting to an inch or 2 of snow. Same over here near Scranton, potentially 1 to 2, maybe 3 inches of extra snow that's already there. And then back up here near Erie, we're going to be talking about the potential there for some snow. I mean, we're still talking about another 1 to 2 feet still possible over here near Erie. And that's going to spread into parts of New York as well. Jamestown, Concord, Colden, and Dunkirk still need to be watching out for more accumulations of snow. You guys have already been kind of walloped by a snowstorm before this, and unfortunately a little bit more snow is going to be piling up, but it seems like your guys' infrastructure has been handling it quite amazingly. I mean, we keep on seeing these high snowfall totals up here near Erie, near Buffalo, and then the next day, we get those photos coming in that the roads are cleared, and we got like these big walls of snow on the left and right sides of the road, indicating that your guys' snow plows are hard at work. So if you do happen to be out and about and you see a snow plow, man, give him a tip, give him a little bit of money. He's been working his butt off to make sure that you guys can get to your places, get to your groceries, get to your food. And I got a feeling they're not going to get a bonus from the government from this. So give them a little bit of extra money if you got it. But over here near New York, Syracuse, Ithaca, Rochester, Utica are all going to be getting some more snow. Also over here near Oneida, Albany, Schenectady, Saratoga Springs, and Glen Falls are all going to be getting in some additional snowfall totals, anywhere from 1 to 2 inches over here near Albany. And then also coming up here towards Ithaca and Rochester, 4 to 5 inches are going to be possible. Syracuse, Utica, 5 to 8 inches are going to be possible there. And then still watching out for some more lake effect snow on the backside of this thing south of Watertown. Coming up here into New England and parts of the Northeast here, you can see that, Connecticut and Massachusetts could get a decent amount of snow out of this. Danbury to Waterbury, 1 to 2. Pittsfield, around 4 inches. Near Worcester, potentially 4 to 5 inches there. Holyoke, Springfield might get a dusting to an inch. If we do get a little bit of a stronger kind of frontal low here that's going to be out in front of this main low pressure system, we could see these snowfall accumulations creep a little bit further east than what's forecasted. Again, we could even see a dusting up here near Lowell and Boston. Wouldn't completely rule that out, but again, we got that abnormally warm water off of the coast, so that's going to be hard to happen. But I would not be surprised if we did get some surprise snowfall amounts a little bit further east than what's forecasted here. And then up here near Vermont and New Hampshire, we're talking about anywhere from 4 to 5 inches in the lower elevations, and as we get higher into the elevations here, we're talking an additional 6 to 12 inches of snow there. Same thing goes over here near Maine. Still talking about 4 to 5 inches possible north of Augusta, Bangor, also Lincoln. And then as we go into those higher elevations, we get closer to a foot, 8 to 12 inches of snow up there. But yeah, in terms of what's being in a range of accuracy, this is kind of the only storm that we have on our radar. Some of the models, however, are picking up on a little bit of a storm system. So we're going to get some thunderstorms and showers over here near Houston going into Atlanta as we go into the 5th. Early morning throughout the afternoon, then that's going to clear out. And then eventually you can see we got another little batch of moisture as we come into the 7th. And then eventually that tries to lift off to the north and brings a lot more warmth into the country. So we're talking about the potential for a little bit of a thaw coming in kind of the beginning portions of December. Now, again, a lot of this can change. We're starting to get into la land. But I do want to note, you're probably going to see a lot of thumbnails and people starting to hype this northern snow event up. Now, I will tell you right now, confidence is low on this storm. We're too far away. If we get a little bit more cold air, yes, we could totally see, a decent snowfall event up here in this area. But a lot of the models I've been indicating of a warm up, a December thaw. So again, remember, we've been having a little bit of a cold bias with some of our models, especially as we get some of these larger scale, low pressure systems that tap into some of this Gulf of Mexico moisture and all that warmth and anomaly warm air that's kind of down there in that region. So not super confident that this storm's going to be a big snowmaker just yet. So just, make sure you have your BS meters on. Anybody that's saying that they know 100% certain that this is going to be a big time snowstorm, they're scamming you. But regardless, there is a signal there for a low pressure system. And whenever we see these kind of signals, we got to, take a look at them. And as we go into the 9th and the 10th, you can see that the snow line, which is really the only thing I'm going to be talking about during this forecast, is all the way up here. Okay. You see a lot of moisture, a lot of rain, probably a lot of warm air piling up in this region. We've got to watch out for the potential for some snow, mainly in this backside for most of the United States. If we get another low pressure system try to spin up over here, that might be a little bit more organized. But in the end, most of the models are indicating that this is not a big time snow event. So we'll see how that changes as we go into the future. Again, we're about 7 to 8 days out from this happening, but I will be keeping an eye on it and giving you guys updates when warranted. It does seem like, though, a lot of rain is coming for the eastern portion of the United States, so make sure you're keeping an eye on that. All right, last but certainly not least, we're going to be looking at the temperatures across the United States. And as you can see, we're still going to be seeing some colder air hang on over here for, the northern plains going all the way into the Ozarks, the Ohio Valley, Illinois, the Great Lakes regions also going down in the southeast and the northeast. Still talking about generally around 10 to 15 degrees here up in the northeast. About that cold up in the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains, 20s to 30s, all the way from the southeast up into the northern plains. And that continues to happen all the way into the 4th. And then eventually, as we go into the 5th, we've got another potentially decent sized cool down coming in for the northern plains going into the Ohio Valley. Yet again, we could see negative degree temperatures up here in North Dakota, single digits to double digits over here in Minnesota, South Dakota as well. And then, we're going to have that wind chill, so you can drop a couple of degrees off of that as well. And then as that pushes into the Ohio Valley and Illinois, you can see that, we're going to have some, teens out there in terms of the temperatures. Hopefully no teens in terms of people out there, because it's going to be, I wouldn't say dangerously cold, but if you stay out there too long, you could get unhealthy. But the bottom line is it's time to bundle up, as we got another little incursion of some colder air coming in. But as you can see, as we go into the 6th here, the temperatures continue to stay pretty cold, but then eventually we get that little bit of a warm up starting to come in. You can see those yellows and oranges starting to pop back in this map, indicating that it is going to get a little bit warmer. And as I push this forward, you can see that kind of builds down there in the southern plains going into the southeast. We can even see those 40s and 50s return up here in the Ohio Valley and Illinois. So it's actually a pretty decently sized warm up. So the thing that's going to dictate this next storm that comes through is how much cold air is up here, right? How strong is our low pressure system? And then also, how far north does this warm air goes? If the warm air does not really go that far north and maybe it sits down here, then yeah, we could be talking about maybe a little bit of a higher snow chance up here to the north. But as of right now, the models are indicating the scenario that we have more warmth than what is needed for a significant snowstorm. But again, we're far out. Models change all the time. So if any big changes comes, I will obviously, come back on here and make another video. Yeah, thank you everybody for watching. I do appreciate it. Been a little sick lately. That's why my videos haven't really been daily as they used to be. I'm starting to round the corner, or well, actually, I don't really know because I'm kind of hopped up on, what is it called? Dayquil, I think is what it's called. But yeah, I've been hopped up on that. So, I'm feeling a little bit of energy, but once that wears off, I might be back to feeling sick again. We'll have to see. But yeah, it's cold. The immune system gets a little weaker, and that's why, I'm feeling a little sick. Probably got a cold or something. But thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button before you leave. It does help us reach more people in the path of these snow events. You have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you later. Peace.